This is the OMFL.
You can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with Kinda Real Nate. Here's another OMFL production.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to the off-season regulations FPR here in the OMFL. I am the commish, the founder of the OMFL, Kinda Real Nate, and I appreciate you checking us out and tuning this in. We're trying to update these for Madden 19 and get these out there, so it's a little easier if you don't have time to read. You can just kind of listen to these videos. A couple of things is you should go back and watch some of these other videos, but if you're just using this as a refresher for your first off season or just a refresher of the OMFL, you might play in a bunch of different leagues. We want to make sure that we have this set up for you and you know exactly what to do. Excuse me, I had to take a little sip of water here. Kind of the philosophy here is that even in the OMFL league that's been around for 21 plus years, we still have turnover. Not a lot of turnover, but at the end of the day, owners can come and go. Life happens and things happen. And so our goal is to ensure the integrity of the teams for the next owner that's going to come in. And so when it comes to trades here in the OMFL, we've created a trade calculator. Now, this may change, and so you want to always make sure that you're using the most up-to-date calculator. Make sure that you're seeing the most up-to-date rules. And so even if you're watching this video, just go double-check and make sure that these things are up-to-date. I'm not going to have an opportunity to update these videos every single time. We're doing this at the beginning of Madden 19, but you should always check. We try to have our calculator as updated as we possibly can. This is a tool that we've created ourselves with the help of Ziploc here in the OMFL. It's kind of an idea that I had, and he's helped me kind of flesh out exactly what that looks like. It is not perfect, but we've moved away from having a trade committee that approves trades because it's impossible to be unbiased. And there was too much gray area involved in that. And so creating a calculator, even though it's not perfect, it does get us really, really close, and it does get us the fair trades that we're looking for. And it's black and white. Owners know exactly what to do. Here's the thing about the trade calculator that you must keep in mind is that in the OMFL, and we'll talk about that in a minute, the only thing that consists of a trade that must be calculated, so to speak, are players that are rated 80 overall and above, rounds 1, 2, and 3 of the draft. Anything below those, you're allowed to freely do whatever you want to. It's your team. You can move the bottom half of your roster. What we find is that teams are trying to make trades for things that count, rounds 1, 2, or 3, players 80 or above, by adding in a bunch of things that don't count, rounds 4 through 7, players 79 and lower. That is never going to be a thing here. If you need to add a little something, we will allow it. We will approve those trades. But we will always look over every trade because you're not allowed to trade, for a first rounder by, putting in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round draft picks. Like that. That's not a thing here because the calculator doesn't see the difference between that. And so, though we have a calculator, you must use it intelligently and not think that I can just put a bunch of spam pieces together to equal what I need it to equal to get the calculator to say approved. But make sure that you use the calculator. You must post all trades with a photo of your calculator so that we can see what you came up with. And the Daddy Leagues links to any players that are involved in the trade, along with some information that's posted there, so that we can see that that trade is fair. All trades will be approved the second that you post them, unless we go back and we see that you have twisted the system or done something that makes us uncomfortable. We'll disallow the trade. You guys will have to trade back and suffer whatever cap casualties or cap situations that may create. And so it's kind of a use at your own discretion. But you know when you have offered a fair trade, or when a fair trade has been offered that will get declined because you've added in a bunch of extra stuff. In the OMFL2, we don't have this issue in the OMFL, but in the OMFL2, you are allowed to trade with the CPU. Make sure you read these rules here and make sure that you speak with their commissioner to make sure that that's still allowed. You must be here at least 4 advances before we allow you to trade. So if you're brand new here, we don't allow you to come in and start making moves. You have to be here for a little bit. Again, players 80 overall and above, picks 1 through 3 are the only things that count and have a limit. All other players and picks have no limit. Trade limits are reset each and every season. One team may only withhold 12 draft picks per a single season, not allowing teams to go and get 20 draft picks every season. And you're only allowed to trade away 2 future draft picks. None of them may be a first rounder. So rounds 2 and 3 may be traded, 4 and 5 and 6 may be traded, 7th if you want, for future considerations, but no first rounders and only 2 of those. Any rookies drafted may not be traded in their rookie year. Free agents may not be traded the same year that they were acquired. And so if you sign a free agent contract, you're not allowed to move that player that offseason. The philosophy behind Madden free agency here in the OMFL is that in Madden, when you fire up the game, it's first come, first serve, and it just doesn't allow for there to be real competition for free agency. And so we put these rules in place to kind of allow for that. First, you must place a bid for a free agent in season. So if it's in season, like we are now, at the recording of this video, you must put in a waiver bid. It tells us the player, the position, the name, how much you're offering that player, and then we close them every 24 hours. Person with the most money wins. If there is a money tie, we go to waiver order, and then the person with the highest waiver order wins. That player can immediately be signed once it's been announced that it's been closed. You're never ever allowed to just go into free agency on the game and start signing players. That's never a thing here. You must put in bids on all players, not just 80 overall, all players, any player. If he's 42 overall, long snapper, you must put in a waiver submission for him. If a player is on another player's practice squad, you must notify that owner that you're placing a bid, and you must make a post. And so we have a forum for that. You must go into the forum for practice squad players. You must say, I am bidding on the Falcons, backup running back on his practice squad. And then that owner has 24 hours to decide if they want to sign them to their active roster or if they want to release the rights and allow whoever has the winning bid to win. That doesn't mean that if you put in your bid and the Falcons owner decides he doesn't care about that player, that you immediately win the bid. It still has to wait 24 hours so other teams can also have the opportunity to decide if they want to put in a waiver claim. And that is not about money. That is strictly by waiver order only. We review them if you're signing that player to the practice squad or the 53, highest contract value, highest waiver order, and then once that player has been awarded, you must sign the player. Because it's free agency and there's no bonus, if you change your mind before it's bid, you can just let that player walk. If that's what you so choose to do, just communicate that with it. In the off season, in the in-game free agency, we have some limitations, and this is what they are. You must offer a contract greater than 4 years. If the player asks for a contract greater than 4 years when you're re-signing them, so in your normal season re-signs, if a player is asking for more than 4 years, you must refuse. You cannot offer them less or more than 4 years. You can only offer them 4 years or less. If it is 3 or more of your players that are asking for more than 4 years, so if you come to me and say, I've got 4 players who are asking for more than 4 years, we will allow you an exception to sign that player to a longer contract, 5 years, 6 years, whatever they're asking. But then we will go in and edit it for the same amount of money, but only down to 4 years. So let's say you have 5 players all asking for 6 years. You sign one of them to a 6-year contract. We allow you one exception, and it's $100 million. We will then edit that to be a $100 million 4-year contract. So you'll still get 4 years, but for the same amount of money. Bonuses must be 25% of the salary that you offered. In the in-game bidding system, so not re-signing players, but the in-game bidding system for the off-season, the winning bid must be 3 points higher than the next highest bid. And so if you're raising someone's bid, you must raise it to 3 points higher. You're not allowed to come in and, if you're the losing bid, raise yours up to 1 point behind. That's not. You must be 3 points below or 3 points above, depending on where you are in the bidding. You cannot offer 1-year deals into the third round of free agency. Anyone left in the third round of free agency, you can then offer 1-year deals with. If you cut a player from your team, won't re-sign. If a player won't re-sign for you, he's free game. But if you've cut a player, if you've chosen not to re-sign them or you've cut them, then you cannot bid on that player until round 3. So you're not allowed to get rid of fat contracts and then go re-sign them to lower contracts in free agency. If they're still there in round 3, they're free game. You can offer them what you want. Players cut from week 15 and on are not allowed to sign with any team until the off season. So we will make a list of do not sign players. When players start making cuts for salary cap reasons, you're not allowed to sign them for playoff runs and such. Salary cap management, you're allowed $16 million in penalties per season. Once you hit $17 million, you're capped. You're not allowed to make any more moves that cost money. No trades, no free agency cuttings, nothing that will cost money. If you go over the $17 million, you will have one player suspended for 1 game. And then any trade that you do is going to be denied and have to be redone. You're not allowed to sign any free agencies. You're not allowed to do anything with your team if you go over $17 million in cap penalty. If you take over a team that's brand new, they're already over the $17 million, we will give you a reset so that you can have that. And then trades and signings that take you over the 17 will not be allowed. Our off-season philosophy is that we want a vibrant free agency market. That's why we do the 4-year deals. That's why we do the bonuses. That's why we don't allow 1-year contracts. We've learned this over the years, that this allows for a good free agency market that makes it viable and something that people look forward to, and gives teams an opportunity to reset and build their team, especially if they're new here or if they need to just rebuild a low overall team. Advances will be loosely scheduled and be completely random, that only I will know, and this will discourage free agent sniping. Teams who enter multiple free agency seasons with $40 to $80 million every single season will receive a warning from us. You're not allowed to cut the books or sign only 1-year deals so that every offseason you go in with the most cap money. That's not going to be allowed. You're going to have a talk with me, and we're going to ask you to spend your money, spend it the right way, like everyone else is doing, and not use this flaw. This has been a strategy that we've seen implemented in Madden 18, and something we are trying to avoid and not be allowed. And if you just can't understand that, then we have to have discussion about your ownership here in the OMFL. The draft is going to be for a time that works for most owners. It's never going to accommodate everyone. The only person it has to accommodate is me, because I do a 4-hour draft show every single draft, and I have to run the draft, and so this will be the time that the league votes on, but that also fits me, because I add a lot to the community with these draft shows. They're one of the best things that we do, and so over the years we've just learned that it will be a vote, and if you're not allowed to be at the trade, you're allowed to set up your draft board. They work. Put in the time. If you want to trade out within the trade rules, we're allowed you to trade out of the draft, but the draft boards work and you should use them. Draft day trades for rounds 5, 6, and 7 are allowed to be done with no review, no posting, no process, no approval. Just make them happen. If you're in the 5th, 6th, 7th round of a draft, guy wants to get rid of the rest of his picks, just make it happen and get out of the draft if that's what you want to do. Position changes. Halfback may play receiver, but only at the 3rd receiving position and lower. Tight end may play fullback. The speed must be 80 or lower. Wide receiver may play tight end Speed, again, needs to be 80 or lower. Defensive ends, you may play defensive tackle or outside linebacker. Defensive tackle may play defensive end. Outside linebacker may play defensive end. Offensive line may play all offensive line positions. Linebackers may play all linebacker positions. Don't be smart. Don't move your middle linebacker to an outside linebacker and then move that linebacker to a defensive end just to skirt the rules. You see what we're trying to get at here? Let's play within those rules. All DBs can play all DB positions. If they want to go to strong safety or free safety as a cornerback, then they must be 90 speed or lower. Kickers and punters may play kickers or punters. They can be interchangeable. And again, moving a player through multiple position hops will receive an additional conversation with me. You may edit a player's appearance and jersey number if you so choose. Those jersey numbers need to fall in line with the NFL guidelines that you see posted there. I just don't want to see number 1 defensive ends, number 99 receivers. Like, it takes something out of it for me, and this is just a me thing, so keep it within the NFL rules. You may not change your player's name unless you get commissioner approval. The way we do that is you can earn that through an incentive. You have to post it. It has to get approved by the board, and then you can change that player's name. Outside of that, don't change a player's name. The following stats through our incentive program cannot be touched. So you can earn XP that goes through specific attributes through our incentive program, but these can never be touched ever. Now, in the game, this has changed. And now in the game, you automatically get rolls, which give you speed, jump, kick power, those types of adjustments. But we can't change that. We can't edit that. We're not going to go edit every single player every single week. But what we can do is the XP that you earn away from the end game for content, for participation, we will not allow you to put it in these areas. Again, we limit the XP that you earn in game, and we give you greater opportunities to earn it with extra content outside of the game in the league, to promote participation, involvement, engagement, and to give guys who maybe aren't great at the sticks an opportunity to earn XP and build their team the same way. So speed, jump, kick power cannot be improved. We feel like these are things that players just don't get better at when they enter the NFL. These 3 can never be improved also, but they can be added to stay or maintain at the value that they are at. So acceleration, agility, and throwing power. If a player comes in at 92, but 3 years later is down to an 89, you may add to his throwing power to get it back to a 92. You just cannot go above that. Also, any other attributes that are here, you can never go above 90. And so once an attribute gets to 90, you're capped at that attribute, and you may not add to that attribute. Some roster minimum maximums. You must be at 53 minimum at all times. You must have at least 3 halfbacks at all times on your roster active. 4 receivers all times. 4 cornerbacks. 4 safeties, any combination of free and strong safety. 8 offensive linemen, any combination. 1 fullback. 2 tight ends. Those are the bare minimums that you must have at all times. We'll be looking at your rosters throughout the year, especially in the offseason. You must stay at this minimum. All players' confidence will be reset at week 1. During bye weeks, if you post, hey, it's my bye week, I want a confidence reset, we'll reset it. And then going into free agency week 1, and then you can earn an extra confidence reset if it's needed through our incentive program. And then again, when you join the OMFL, you must create a brand new owner. So that is our off-season fair play rules, our business season, we like to call it, trades, off-season, free agency, all that fun stuff here in the OMFL. Appreciate you for watching the video. If you have any questions, make sure that you hit us up. If not, good luck. God bless. We'll see you.